At the threshold of the stratosphere, where oxygen is but a fading memory and the wind carves the very bones of the earth, life does not merely exist, it reigns. This is the roof of the world, a primordial sanctuary of ice and stone where the laws of biology are pushed to their absolute breaking point. Long before the first human footsteps echoed across these jagged peaks, an ancient drama of survival was already unfolding in the thin, biting air of the Tibetan Plateau. Here, in the shadow of the world's highest summits, extraordinary creatures have forged a pact with the cold, turning isolation into a fortress and hunger into a master of strategy. High above the 5,000-meter mark, where the sky seems to touch the jagged limestone, a phantom moves in absolute silence. This is the snow leopard, the smoke-gray monarch of the vertical wilderness. She is a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering, draped in a coat so dense it scoffs at the sub-zero gale. Her tail, nearly a meter of thick fur and muscle, acts as a biological rudder, allowing her to navigate precipices where a single misstep means a 1,000-foot fall. Below her, a herd of baral, the blue sheep, grazes on the sparse vegetation. They are unaware that the very mountain itself is watching them. With a single explosive leap spanning 15 meters, the leopard bridges the gap between life and death. She does not roar, for the mountains demand silence, but her power is undeniable as she secures a 75-kilogram kill, a feast that will sustain her cubs through the merciless Himalayan winter. But the plateau is not governed by single hunters alone. On the vast open plains of the Changtang, survival is a game of endurance, played by the Tibetan wolf. These are not the wolves of the lowland forests. Their blood is rich with hemoglobin, and their lungs are vast chambers designed to extract every precious molecule of oxygen from the thin air. They do not rely on the sudden ambush. Instead, they utilize the geometry of the landscape, fanning out in a lethal semicircle to hem in a herd of Tibetan antelope. The chiru antelope can hit speeds of 60 kilometers per hour, but the wolves possess a terrifying patience. They maintain a steady, rhythmic trot, knowing that in this high-altitude arena, stamina will eventually overcome speed. It is a slow-motion chase under a sun that burns without warming, a testament to the brutal efficiency of pack coordination. Rising from the frost like a fortress of flesh and bone is the wild yak. To see a 1,000-kilogram bull standing against a blizzard at 5,000 meters is to witness the very definition of resilience. His blood is a biological marvel, flowing with a concentration of hemoglobin that would be toxic to a human, yet it provides the energy needed to move his massive frame through the rarest air on the planet. His coat is a multi-layered shield, with long, coarse hair reaching the ground to protect his vitals from the razor-like wind. He is the ship of the plateau, a creature so vital that the human communities of the high desert owe their very existence to his strength. Yet, this ancient lineage faces a modern crisis, as habitat loss and genetic dilution threaten the purity of the wild yak's bloodline, an echo of the fragility that haunts even the most powerful of titans. Descending into the mist-shrouded forests of the eastern slopes, the narrative of survival shifts from raw power to intricate social structures. The Tibetan macaque, a robust primate of the vertical woods, maintains order through a strict and unforgiving hierarchy. Led by an alpha male, the clan navigates the cliffs with a muscular grace, utilizing cheek pouches to store food before retreating to the safety of the heights. In the same emerald canopy, the red panda, the firefox, moves like a living flame. Though it shares a name with the giant panda, it belongs to its own unique family, a solitary acrobat that has evolved a false thumb to grip bamboo with surgical precision. It is a creature of meticulous habits, spending 15 hours a day in deep slumber to conserve the meager energy provided by its low-calorie diet, hidden within the rhododendron blooms, where the light filters like liquid gold. In the stone amphitheaters of the high plateau, another ghost patrols the boundary of the world, the Eurasian lynx. With ears tipped with black tufts that act as biological antennas, he hears the heartbeat of a pika through a foot of snow. His paws are natural snowshoes, distributing his weight so perfectly that he seems to float across the white mantle. Nearby, the Tibetan sandfox, with its strangely square face and small ears, watches the horizon. It is a specialist of the burrows, often following the Tibetan brown bear as the giant excavates the earth, waiting to snatch the pikas that flee from the bear's massive claws. This is a landscape of opportunistic alliances and lethal precision, where even the smallest architect of the soil, the plateau pika, serves as the biological engine that feeds the entire food chain. Above it all, the sentinels of the sky keep watch. The Himalayan vulture, with a wingspan of 3 meters, utilizes thermal currents to patrol the mineral vastness without flapping a single feather. Its vision is a marvel, 8 times more powerful than a human's, allowing it to spot a carcass from the very edge of the clouds. It is the cleaner of the mountains, the bridge between life and the elements. And then there is the golden eagle, the aerial sovereign. When it spots a young goral on a distant slope, it tucks its wings and becomes a living projectile, reaching speeds of 320 kilometers per hour. The impact is a display of kinetic energy that defies the stillness of the peaks, a reminder that in the wild, the sky is never empty and the ground is never truly safe. As we leave the heights of the Himalayas, the theme of cold weather survival follows us across the globe to the dark, brackish waters of the Baltic Sea. Here, the giants are different, but the rules are the same. After a winter of deep dreaming, the brown bear emerges from its den into the boreal spring. It is a 300-kilogram titan, driven by an evolutionary hunger, heading for the rivers, where the salmon have begun their desperate journey upstream. With claws reaching 10 centimeters in length, the bear is a master of the catch, consuming only the energy-rich skin and fat to rebuild its reserves. This is the season of abundance, where the forest offers its seeds, roots, and berries, and the bear acts as a gardener of the wild, dispersing life with every step it takes through the pines. In the dense thickets of the Baltic, the grey wolf reigns as the undisputed master of the pack. Its territory spans 1,000 square kilometers of wetlands and woods, a kingdom marked by scent and song. The wolf's howl is more than a sound. It is a territorial boundary and a social glue. When the pack hunts, they are a single organism, flanking a red deer with a precision that has been perfected over millions of years. The deer, a majestic stag with 10-kilogram antlers, will fight with a fury that can generate hundreds of newtons of force, but the pack's collective intelligence is a weapon that no individual can match. It is a cycle of life and death that maintains the health of the entire forest, a balance held in place by the tooth and the claw. Along the jagged coastlines, the grey seal emerges as the sovereign of the sub-zero surf. A 300-kilogram bull is a marvel of marine adaptation, his body encased in a 10-centimeter layer of blubber that renders the freezing water irrelevant. His whiskers are sensitive radars, capable of detecting the vibrations of a fish 100 meters away in the pitch-black abyss. He can slow his heart to a crawl, staying submerged for 30 minutes as he patrols the kelp forests. On land, he is a heavy, lumbering presence on the granite isles, but in the water, he is a torpedo of pure muscle. He shares these shores with the Arctic tern, the world's greatest traveler, which covers 70,000 kilometers a year in a never-ending pursuit of the sun, linking the 2 poles of the Earth with a bridge of white wings. Deep in the frozen arteries of the Siberian tiger, the European beaver works with a mechanical diligence. His teeth, reinforced with iron, are orange chisels that can fell a half-meter trunk to build a fortress against the frost. While the world outside drops to -30 degrees, the interior of his lodge remains a stable haven above freezing. He is the landscape's engineer, creating ponds that provide refuge for countless other species, ensuring that even in the dead of winter, the pulse of the river continues to beat. Beside him, the mallard duck utilizes a counter-current heat exchange in its legs to stand on solid ice without freezing, a biological miracle that allows it to remain in the north while millions of others flee for the warmth of the Mediterranean. This symphony of the cold is a testament to the invincibility of life. From the 6-centimeter talons of the golden eagle to the iron-clad teeth of the beaver, every creature is a unique solution to the problem of a hostile planet. The Tibetan Plateau and the Baltic forests are not just landscapes, they are laboratories of extreme evolution. But today, these sanctuaries stand at a crossroads. The third pole is warming twice as fast as the global average, and the permafrost is exhaling ancient secrets as the ice retreats. The very foundations of these biological fortresses are beginning to shift under the weight of a changing climate, forcing the guardians of the cold into a new and uncertain era of survival. As the glaciers weep and the mineral vastness of the high desert trembles, the question is no longer just how these creatures survive the elements, but how they will survive the world we are creating around them. Within this fragile sanctuary, the giant panda remains a monolithic symbol of endurance, a treasure of the Sichuan Mountains, known scientifically as Ailuropoda melanoluca. This majestic creature, draped in its iconic tapestry of black and white, is far more than a cultural icon. It is a biological marvel that has carved out a life in the mist-shrouded bamboo forests between 1,000 and 3,000 meters of altitude. Unlike its ursine relatives, the giant panda does not succumb to the long lethargy of hibernation, for its specialized diet of bamboo provides too little caloric density to build the massive fat reserves required for such a sleep. Instead, it is a creature of perpetual motion and consumption, dedicating up to 14 hours a day to the rhythmic crushing of bamboo stalks. To sustain its massive frame, an adult must consume between 12 and 38 kilograms of vegetation every single day, a feat made possible by a unique evolutionary adaptation, a radial sesamoid bone that functions as a false thumb, allowing it to grasp and strip bamboo with the precision of a primate. Behind its gentle appearance lies the raw power of a carnivore's ancestry, with jaws capable of exerting 1,300 newtons of pressure to splinter the toughest fibrous stalks. In the solitude of the mountain, the panda communicates through a complex language of scents and vocalizations, maintaining a social order that avoids direct conflict until the arrival of the spring breeding season, where the forests echo with the sounds of a species fighting for its very continuity. While the panda reigns in the vertical forests, the open heart of the Tibetan Plateau belongs to a much smaller but equally vital architect, the plateau pika. Known as Ochotona cursonii, this relative of the rabbit is the biological engine of the alpine grasslands. Weighing a mere 200 grams, the pika is a monument to diligence, surviving at altitudes exceeding 4,000 meters without the luxury of hibernation. During the fleeting 3-month summer, the pika engages in a frantic ritual of haymaking, harvesting thousands of grass stems and spreading them across the sun-warmed rocks to dry. This natural dehydration process allows the pika to stockpile a nutrient-rich treasury within its subterranean labyrinth, ensuring its high metabolism remains fueled through the absolute freeze of the winter months. A single individual may make over 100 trips a day, a tireless effort that does more than just feed the colony. Their constant excavation aerates the compacted soil, allowing the precious meltwater to reach the deep roots of the alpine flora. As a keystone species, the pika is the foundation of the plateau's food web, its presence sustaining the foxes and birds of prey that patrol the heights. In the grand theater of the Himalaya, the pika proves that biological greatness is not measured in size, but in the relentless preparation for the extremes of existence. Scanning the horizon from the rocky outcrops, another sentinel of the heights maintains a constant vigil, the Himalayan marmot. This robust rodent, Marmota himalayana, is one of the few mammals that truly masters life above 4,500 meters. Clad in a dense, woolly coat of yellowish fur that acts as a thermal shield against the biting winds, the marmot can reach a weight of 9 kilograms before the onset of the eternal winter. Their society is built on a foundation of absolute cooperation and individual sacrifice. While the clan grazes on the fresh alpine shoots, adult sentinels take turns standing atop the highest mineral points, their eyes scanning for the silhouette of the golden eagle or the stealthy approach of a wolf. At the slightest vibration of danger, the sentinel emits a piercing, high-frequency whistle of 120 decibels, a biological alarm that triggers a synchronized retreat into the safety of tunnels that can extend 10 meters beneath the surface. As autumn wanes, the marmot family seals their home with a mixture of mud and stone, entering a profound 6-month hibernation where their heart rate slows to a crawl, conserving the spark of life while the world above descends to 30 degrees below zero. In the sacred wetlands that dot this high-altitude desert, the black-necked crane emerges as a figure of ancestral elegance. The Grus nigricollis is the only crane species in the world that lives and breeds at altitudes surpassing 4,000 meters, making it a sovereign of the thin air. After an epic migration of hundreds of kilometers, they return to the frozen plateaus to begin their cycle of renewal. Their ash-gray plumage, punctuated by a dark neck and a vibrant red crown, stands as a symbol of biological authority under the Himalayan sun. These cranes build their nests on isolated islands of mud, surrounded by frigid waters, to safeguard their lineage from the reach of the sand fox or the raven. For 30 days, the parents endure winds of 50 kilometers per hour, using their own bodies to maintain the thermal energy required for incubation. Their trumpeting calls resound across the basins of the Great Lakes, like Namso, the turquoise of the sky. These massive bodies of water, sitting at 4,700 meters, are crystalline refuges in a mineral desert. Despite their high salinity, they harbor specialized microorganisms and fish that have adapted to the extreme pressure and cold, providing a vital energy source for the thousands of migratory birds that transform the shores into a symphony of vitality each summer. The Tibetan Plateau is often called the third pole of the Earth, a title it earns not just through its cold, but through its role as a global reservoir of fresh water. The alpine grasslands here function as a biological sponge, filtering the runoff from ancient glaciers to nourish the civilizations in the valleys far below. The ground itself is reinforced by layers of permafrost, a geological stabilizer that resists the radical thermal shifts of the high desert. Here, the air holds only 60% of the oxygen available at sea level, a physical barrier that has forced life into extraordinary evolutionary gambits. The wild yak, a titan of 1,000 kilograms, possesses lungs and a heart of massive proportions, with blood rich in hemoglobin to capture every stray molecule of oxygen. Even the chiru, the Tibetan antelope, has developed complex nasal structures to warm the sub-zero air before it reaches the delicate tissues of the lungs. Every movement in this environment is a calculated expenditure of energy, a precision-engineered response to the physics of the high mountains. As we descend from the roof of the world and travel toward the northern reaches of Europe, the landscape shifts from the mineral vastness of the Himalaya to the dense primeval forests of the wild Baltic. Here, between rocky coasts and boreal thickets, a different breed of giants reigns. After a long winter of silence, the brown bear stirs within its den, signaling the arrival of the northern summer. Weighing over 300 kilograms, this titan moves through the pines with an instinct forged over millions of years. Its sense of smell is a legendary sensory tool, capable of detecting the scent of food from several kilometers away, far surpassing the capabilities of any domestic animal. The bear follows the scent of the cold mountain streams, for it knows the salmon have begun their grueling journey upstream. Standing at the edge of a waterfall, the bear is a portrait of absolute patience. When a salmon leaps against the current, the bear reacts with a fraction of a second precision, catching the fish in its powerful jaws. This is the season of accumulation. The bear must consume up to 40 kilograms of food a day, prioritizing the fat-rich skin to build the reserves necessary for the next hibernation. In the shadows of these same Baltic forests, the grey wolf operates not as a solitary giant, but as a master of collective strength. The pack is a symbol of loyalty and tactical brilliance, patrolling territories that can span over 1,000 square kilometers. Clad in a coat of silver and grey that melts into the bark of the trees, the wolf is nearly invisible until it chooses to be seen. Its ears can detect the snap of a twig a mile away, and its legs are built for the ultimate endurance, capable of covering 70 kilometers in a single day without fatigue. The hunt is a coordinated choreography. The pack divides, flanking their prey and driving the weakest individual toward the waiting leaders. With a bite force of 400 newtons, the wolf ensures that once the chase ends, the survival of the pack is secured. Every howl that echoes through the Baltic night is both a song of unity and a warning to any who would dare intrude upon their sovereign domain. Yet, there are those who prefer the path of the ghost. The Eurasian lynx, lynx, lives by a different rule: survive alone or not at all. This solitary hunter dominates territories of 400 square kilometers, her spotted fur providing the perfect camouflage against the dappled light of the boreal canopy. Her ears, topped with black tufts that act as biological antennas, can hear the rustle of a rodent from 60 meters away. In the dead of winter, her massive paws act as natural snowshoes, allowing her to glide over the drifts where others would sink. She is a master of the ambush, capable of a 4-meter leap that brings down a deer before it can even register her presence. While the wolves rely on numbers, the lynx relies on the terrifying precision of the individual, a silent guardian of the forest's balance. As autumn descends upon the Baltic, the forest is draped in a mantle of gold, and the temperature drops toward 10 degrees Celsius. This is the season of urgency, where every creature feels the ancestral call to prepare. The competition for resources intensifies, and the forest floor becomes a stage for the red deer's most dramatic ritual, the rut, or berea. The stags, weighing up to 240 kilograms, grow massive antlers that can weigh 10 kilograms, hardening under the summer sun for this very moment. Their deep, resonant bellows can be heard for miles, a declaration of dominance and a challenge to any rival. When two stags of equal strength meet, the forest echoes with the violent clash of bone against bone, a duel of hundreds of newtons of force that determines who will lead the herd and continue the lineage. Amidst this clash of titans, the red fox, Vulpes vulpes, moves with a more subtle cunning. The most widely distributed carnivore in the world, the fox is a masterpiece of adaptability. Its vibrant orange fur is not just a mark of beauty, but a camouflage for the autumn leaves. The fox possesses a sensory secret that science is only beginning to understand. It is believed that they can perceive the Earth's magnetic field to calculate the exact distance and trajectory of their prey. This allows them to perform the ratoneo, a characteristic high-arch jump that ends with the fox pinning a rodent beneath the snow with unerring accuracy. Its ears are so sensitive that they can pinpoint the heartbeat of a mouse moving beneath a foot of frozen earth. As the first frost begins to crystallize on the needles of the pines, the fox prepares its thick tail to serve as a thermal blanket, wrapping itself in its own warmth while it listens to the shifting sounds of a world turning toward the white silence. Every creature in the Baltic, from the roaring stag to the silent fox, is now locked in a race against the coming ice, where the only currency that matters is the energy they have managed to steal from the sun. The air grows heavy with the scent of pine and impending snow, and the great hunters of the north begin to narrow their focus, for they know that the grace of autumn is a fleeting gift. In the deepening twilight, the fox remains perfectly still, its ears twitching toward a sound that no human could ever hope to catch. That sound, a faint vibration beneath the permafrost, is the heartbeat of a landscape that never truly sleeps, even as it prepares for the long, white coma of winter. Beyond the fox's domain, in the vast, shadowed taigas of the northern hemisphere, a silent giant dominates the horizon. The moose, Alces, is the largest deer on the planet, a living monument to evolutionary resilience, spanning a territory that reaches from the dense wilds of Canada and Alaska to the ancient forests of Scandinavia and Siberia. This titan is built to endure the most severe winters known to man. An adult male can reach a staggering weight of 700 kilograms, standing over 2 meters tall at the shoulders. His dark, thick coat is a marvel of biological engineering, trapping a layer of warm air against his skin to preserve body heat during gelid northern nights. His legs, exceptionally long and powerful, allow him to navigate through deep snow that would paralyze a lesser creature, while also providing the agility needed to traverse treacherous swamps and shallow coastal waters. His sense of smell is so highly developed that he can detect the scent of a predator from several kilometers away, long before a threat ever comes into view. But it is his crown of antlers that truly defines him, a massive bone structure that can reach a span of nearly 2 meters, one of the largest and most impressive in the animal kingdom. These antlers are not permanent. They are shed every winter and regrown each season, larger and more formidable than before. As the first snows approach, the moose intensifies his feeding, consuming up to 30 kilograms of leaves, tender shoots, and aquatic plants in a single day to build the energy reserves necessary for survival. He is even known to submerge his head completely underwater to graze on nutrient-rich submerged plants, closing his nostrils with specialized muscles to prevent the intake of water. With the onset of the mating season, a surge of testosterone transforms this peaceful giant into a territorial warrior. The sound of clashing antlers during these violent battles for dominance can be heard echoing through the forest for over a kilometer, a primal reminder of the moose's role as a shaper of the boreal ecosystem and a vital source of life for the wolves and bears that follow in his wake. In the deepening shadows of the undergrowth, another titan of the taiga emerges, a creature that personifies brute force and unwavering resistance. The wild boar, Suskrofa, is a survivor born of the most hostile environments in Siberia. An alpha male can reach a massive weight of 200 kilograms, his body shielded by a thick, bristly hide that acts as a natural armor against the cold and the thorns of the forest. His most formidable tool is his reinforced snout, a mechanical marvel capable of turning over compacted, frozen earth with surprising strength. He roots tirelessly in search of succulent bulbs, roots, and fallen nuts, extracting every ounce of life-giving energy from the soil. As an opportunistic omnivore, he does not hesitate to supplement his diet with small mammals or invertebrates, ensuring a steady intake of essential proteins. The weapon of choice for this forest warrior is his lower canines, sharp, biological daggers that can reach 10 centimeters in length. When threatened by a Siberian wolf, the boar does not choose flight. He stands his ground with explosive, lethal aggression. A frontal charge from a boar can reach speeds of 40 kilometers per hour, transforming his massive body into an unstoppable projectile. This combination of weight and weaponry allows him to inflict deep wounds that can deter even the most persistent predators. Yet, beyond his ferocity, the boar is an ecological engineer. By churning the forest floor, he aerates the soil and facilitates the germination of seeds, serving as a fundamental pillar in the complex trophic web of the deep forest. Where the forest meets the freezing embrace of the Baltic Sea, a different kind of sovereign rules the rocky coastlines. The grey seal, Halicoeris grypus, is the undisputed master of the northern maritime frontiers. An adult male can reach 3 meters in length and weigh up to 300 kilograms of pure muscle and insulating fat. His hydrodynamic body allows him to glide through waters that drop to a bone-chilling 2 degrees Celsius with surprising agility. During the months of abundance, this predator becomes an insatiable feeding machine in the marine abyss, patrolling the currents for schools of herring and cod. His vibrissae, or whiskers, function as biological radar, capable of detecting the minute vibrations of a fish from 100 meters away. Every successful hunt adds another millimeter to his blubber, a layer of fat that can reach 10 centimeters in thickness, serving as an impenetrable thermal shield. This stored energy is the fuel required to survive winters, where the mercury plunges far below zero. The grey seal can dive to depths of 100 meters, enduring massive hydrostatic pressure in the watery silence. His physiology allows him to slow his heart rate to conserve oxygen, enabling him to remain submerged for up to 30 minutes at a time. On the surface, these creatures gather in groups on granite islands, sharing warmth under a pale sun. As an apex predator of the Baltic ecosystem, the grey seal regulates fish populations, maintaining the delicate health of the marine food web. He is the guardian of the northern rocks, a masterpiece of resilience in the heart of the cold. Above these waters, a tide of white wings announces the shifting of the seasons. The black-headed gull, Creucocephalus ridibundus, is the restless acrobat of the wetlands. Thousands of these birds form dense, noisy colonies, taking advantage of the nutrient-rich waters. With a 1-meter wingspan, they patrol the surface, capturing small fish and crustaceans with surgical precision. But as temperatures drop below 5 degrees Celsius, an ancestral instinct triggers one of the most remarkable journeys in the sky. A significant portion of the population begins a massive exodus toward the warmer coasts of the Mediterranean or West Africa, traveling over 4,000 kilometers across transversal winds and storms. Yet, some individuals choose to remain in the Baltic, defying the polar winds. They endure temperatures as low as -15 degrees, reducing their biological activity to conserve every precious gram of energy. They huddle in areas where the water still flows, searching for any available organic matter. Their constant, shrill cries allow the group to locate food sources through the thick winter mists. Patrolling the same escarpments is a hunter of absolute biological efficiency, the great cormorant. Phalacrocorax carbo is the sovereign of the deep dive. Weighing approximately 3.5 kilograms, his aerodynamic body is designed to slice through water resistance with ease. His webbed feet act as powerful propulsion engines, driving him to depths of 30 meters. Unlike other waterfowl, his plumage is not completely waterproof, which reduces buoyancy and allows him to sink rapidly. Beneath the surface of the 4-degree water, the cormorant pursues fish with the agility of a living torpedo. His hooked beak exerts a pressure of 200 newtons, ensuring no slippery prey escapes his lethal grip. After each hunt, he emerges and seeks a high perch on granite rocks, spreading his wings wide in an iconic posture to evaporate the moisture from his feathers. This behavior allows him to absorb vital solar radiation to recover the body heat lost to the ocean's chill. Even more extraordinary is the Arctic tern, Sterna paradisea, the world's most relentless traveler. This bird prepares for the longest migration recorded in nature, covering an astounding 70,000 kilometers annually between the Earth's poles. Before departing, they feed intensely to accumulate the biological energy needed for a flight that spans the globe. Flying in organized flocks, they utilize global winds and marine currents to reduce physical strain, maintaining speeds of 40 kilometers per hour across infinite oceans under a sun that never seems to set. Weighing only 0.1 kilograms, the Arctic tern is a masterpiece of aerodynamics, a bridge of wings that unites the world through infinite endurance. As the winter solstice arrives, a sepulchral, gelid silence takes hold of the Siberian taiga. The vibrant colors of autumn vanish, replaced by a desert of white crystal under a sky of implacable steel. The mercury drops drastically to -40 degrees, marking the start of the ultimate biological test. Life seems to freeze as the permafrost hardens, and water sources are sealed under 2 meters of solid ice. For the permanent residents, winter is a war of attrition. The fur of predators thickens into thermal armor, capable of resisting 60 km/h winds. Every movement in the deep snow is a costly expenditure of calories that cannot be wasted. High above this frozen chessboard, the white-tailed eagle, Haliaeetus albicilla, reigns supreme. With a massive wingspan of 2.4 meters, this raptor dominates the landscapes where water meets ice. An adult can weigh up to 7 kilograms, possessing a light skeletal structure designed for perpetual flight. His vision is 8 times more powerful than a human's, allowing him to spot a fish from a kilometer away. When the rivers freeze, he patrols patches of open water, watching for any flash of movement. With an attack speed of 70 kilometers per hour, he descends with precision, his talons exerting a pressure of 3,500 newtons, enough to instantly fracture the skull of a mallard. He is also a biological pirate, using his intimidating size to steal prey from smaller birds or otters, a vital strategy for conserving heat when the mercury falls. Among his targets is the mallard, Anas platyrhynchos, a model of resilience. While others flee south, some mallards move to the non-freezing coasts. Their plumage is a thermal masterpiece, waterproofed by oil from the uropygial gland. They possess a countercurrent heat exchange system in their legs, where warm blood descending from the body heats the cold blood returning from the ice, keeping their limbs functional at -20 degrees. To survive, they huddle in massive flocks, sharing body heat and switching their diet to protein-rich marine invertebrates. Deep within the frozen riverbeds, the European beaver, Castor fiber, continues his tireless work as a hydraulic engineer. His dense fur, with 23,000 hairs per square centimeter, is an impenetrable shield against the gelid water. His teeth, reinforced with iron and stained a distinctive orange, are harder than steel, allowing him to felling trunks half a meter wide to build his fortress. While the outside world screams at -30, the interior of his lodge remains stable above freezing. With an entrance submerged a meter below the ice, he is safe from the wolves. His underwater pantry of tender branches acts as a natural refrigerator, sustaining his family through the Siberian winter. His dams regulate the water flow, creating oases of liquid water that serve as critical refuges for fish and amphibians, ensuring the biodiversity of the northern ecosystem. This vast network of life, from the coniferous forests to the Baltic Sea, functions as a single, breathing organism. The rivers flow like vital arteries, transporting organic matter from the heart of the earth to the coast, feeding the base of the marine food chain. In this white battlefield, the scarcity of resources forces an invisible cooperation between land and sea. The Siberian wolf patrols the icy corridors, while beneath the ice, the forest sediments nourish the seabed. This symbiosis is a masterpiece of evolution, designed to resist millennia of implacable winters. The forest protects the sea, and the sea nurtures the forest. Finally, with the first warm ray of light, the armor of the Baltic begins to fracture. Temperatures rise above zero, and the rivers roar with renewed energy. Millions of migratory birds return, filling the air with a symphony of rebirth. The grey seal basks on granite islets, and the brown bear emerges from his burrow, desperate for protein. The tiger turns into an emerald ocean as tender shoots pierce the thawing earth. Spring is the ultimate triumph of life over gelid immobility, a cycle of hope and biological renewal. Yet, this majestic northern kingdom faces a critical crossroads. Climate change is raising water temperatures, altering the thermal equilibrium, and reducing the ice platforms essential for the grey seal to raise its young. Pollution and habitat fragmentation threaten the ancient migratory corridors. Today, vast marine reserves are being established to shield this biodiversity. Protecting the Baltic is safeguarding the wild soul of Europe, ensuring that the heartbeat of nature continues to resonate under the sun. The fate of the apex predators and their prey depends on our ability to coexist in harmony with this fragile world. May the roar of the polar wind and the silence of the granite rocks remain as eternal testimonies of a world left intact. If you found this journey through the northern wilds inspiring, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing this video to help spread the message of respect for our natural world. Every gesture helps protect the marvelous creations of nature. For now, the cycle continues, and the wild heart of the Baltic beats on.